And today we're going to be looking at a scenario where civilization starts over. Let's get into it. This is Season 2, Episode 16 of the series, and we can get right into it. So, where do we start today? Well, today we're going to be turning off alliances as we're going straight to the religion map. Yep. And you know this one nation over here in Europe that developed this new ideology, which I've decided to rename it to fasciocracy. Yeah, basically a combination of fascism and theocracy. Fasciocracy, if you can see. Yeah. And basically, this thing has decided which religion it basically wants to use. Basically, this thing's goal is to have one religion rule the entire nation. And that religion that they have decided to rule their nation is the Red religion. So, going to the capital region over here, we can see that this Romanian nation is doing some interesting things over here. As well, they make many major cities and the capital region Red religion. Yeah, very normal things. And the yellow team or the yellow religion is starting to notice, hey, we've had a few down expansions over in our religion recently. Like the Germanicist religion that just came, and the Red religion expansion by the Romanian country. And the yellow countries don't really like that. So, going back to the Alliance Slayer, a new alliance is going to be formed. This is going to be an alliance aimed at stopping the expansion of other religions inside of yellow religion territory. And this is going to be represented by the national symbol of the yellow religion, which is the six-pointed star that you guys can make up a name for. Yeah. So basically, the first two representatives will be this country, and this country will both be joining this thing. And also, this country here is also going to be joining this alliance. And well, we can see that three prominently yellow religion nations, if I can find the religion map, yeah, actually all yellow religion nations, are formed up into one singular entity, hoping to stop the expansions of other nations into their faith. Yeah, pretty interesting. Let's go down here to Egypt, specifically over here in Africa, as Egypt is going to be declaring war on this North African nation. Egypt will quickly be sending its forces over into the desert, taking both two major cities of the country, which is where most of the people are. And this thing is probably one of the weakest countries in the world. So, well, they basically go ahead and lose their capital city, and they will very quickly fall. And we can look at the peace treaty, the very simple one of this war, where this nation will be fully annexed. And if you know what it means fully annexed, capital lost. Yeah. And Egypt has just gotten a pretty large expansion. Yeah. If we go to ideologies, the Germanicist ideology is becoming a more widespread idea. Specifically in England, other countries want to form a Germanicist state thing, wanting to unite their people under one. Yeah. And one nation, one very small nation in the world, is going to decide to do this, and that one is Cyprus, as they switch to a Germanicist government. And this means that they will be switching to a Germanicist religion, and Germanicism is currently in two nations. It's also a pretty widespread idea in Britain for other nations to form their own religions. Like Scotland. Scotland is a pretty large empire, and it is hoping to build its own religion. Yeah. Speaking of Scotland, we can see that the Scottish will be continuing to explore across Greenland, mainly having a focus along these inner areas and the coastlines. Oh wait, that's literally all they can go. You can't go to the outer areas because those don't exist in Greenland, but, well, okay. Let's explore this area here. Eventually, a new landing by a different Scottish nation is going to take place right here, as the Southern Scottish will be making their own thing. And eventually, the Southern Scottish nation is going to go ahead and establish a colony over here in Greenland as well. But they still don't know about Greenland to Scotland. But eventually, these groups, continuing to explore, will eventually be able to discover each other over in the Greenlandic areas. And they will very quickly decide to go ahead and start mass exploring Greenland, as they basically do a lot more over here. Speaking of Greenland and the Americas as a whole, let's go down to the American people, as the American people will be going ahead and going across the Ohio River, eventually continuing to expand their tribes a little more. There's actually a lot of tribes over here. There's a few different groups, such as like the Delmarva Peninsula group, the New Jersey group, the New York group, probably a few groups up here, but none of them are big enough to form their actual nations yet. Eventually, these groups are going to start mass exploring over here, and well, eventually they will explore that river and will be fully able to not do that. But what they are able to do is they are able to explore more along this coastline here. Yeah, and this is basically what they look like. And then the first American civilization is going to form. As the largest group in the New Jersey region is going to form the first civilization in the Americas, the New Jersey country. As this thing will also be going ahead and mainly starting to go around these rivers, and eventually their tribes, little expansionist areas things, will be looking something like this. And this is the only real society over here, so well, this is the only one that's able to do much. Yeah. Let's go back to Europe, specifically in Iberia, as Iberia is going to be decided to add another nation to their alliance. Oh wait, what ideologies? Wait, who did join the Iberians alliance? Oh, never mind. I guess Iberia will be forming an alliance. I thought the ideology was the alliance. I guess I'm gonna have to make a new one. Iberia's gonna form the Diamond Alliance. As well, they will be inviting another nation to it, and that nation is going to be the southern nation over here. And this Iberian nation is going to quickly spread their influence over in southern Italy. As we go back to the religion layer, we can see that some major pockets of Iberia start to divert their religion away from main Iberia. As many major cities that have been influenced by Iberia a whole bunch, like all these, like the capital region, this major city, and also, if I can color the rest of this in, there, and also this major city, all these cities have been influenced by Iberia so much that they're starting to become more Iberian. And especially in Catalonia, as nobody really supported the French government here, and Catalonia is the biggest supporter of the new Iberian religion thing. And all the Iberian religion is currently in Iberia, but also the religion will currently be going ahead and spreading over to this island, and will be able to claim a sort of part over here of Sardinia. Yeah, and basically this is where the new Iberian religion spreads. And if we look at the religion map of the world, we can see that it's been getting very diverse recently. There's been more red religion expansions, Germanicism has been born, and now the new Iberian religion. That's something I can definitely say. Let's go to our daily English update. Specifically over to the Welsh country, the southern Welsh country, as they're going to be buying this piece of land over here from this Welsh country. This Welsh country is kind of in a bad state, as they did lose a pretty large chunk of their land up here to this nation. And they kind of sold out land, they sort of sold out land in order to get a bunch of money, because there were still reparations over here being paid. And the Welsh nation has quickly become the second strongest nation over here in the English area. Ireland is also a pretty large contender for the strongest, but Cornwall is currently the strongest in the English area. Let's do a quick power rankings of just England alone. So, number 1 is Cornwall. Number 2 is Wales. Number 3 is Ireland. Number 3 is Wales. Number 4 is actually this country, and we're not including the Scottish countries here for this. Just this main Central English area. Five is probably this one, and then the sixth, then and then 8 minus 1 there, and then the 8th strongest country, and then Tiny Britain here being the strongest country over here in England. Wait, why did I include Ireland? Well, those are just the general rankings of England. And basically, we can see that the Cornwall country and the Welsh are sort of like weak, like the strong countries over here, but they are weak compared to the rest of the world. So they will be forming a new alliance, and that alliance is going to be the Right Triangle Military Alliance. Cornwall is going to be the founding member of it, and the next member is going to be Wales. Wales joins this alliance. This is big, as the two strongest nations in England, Ireland doesn't count, I just realized, have both formed a military alliance. Well, it's sort of big, but well, let's go over here to this country that is controlled by this piece of territory here. Basically, this country can't really support like this country. If we go to the ideologies, we can see that they are an oligarchy, and they are currently in the process of going over to a theocratic government, hoping to fully adopt a certain religion. They don't really know which one. They don't know if Germanicism is going to be it, or the blue religion, or even the yellows, or the light blue, but they don't really know. So basically, they're going to be selling this tiny piece of territory they have in England over here to the British country. In the British country, let's turn off capitals. The British country has just more than quadrupled its size. Yep, this is it before and now this is after. If we look at the provinces, we can see that they only gained 2 provinces actually. But these 2 pretty large provinces, both of which are bigger than their entire country. Yeah, and well, that's a pretty big win for the English country. But the English country is still very weak. Still the weakest in England. Still looking to reclaim the English area. Eventually, if we go over to this country, we can see that this territory down here is rebellious. This one, let's turn off capitals. And this little rebellious territory is wanting to join the English country. So these rebellious territories, this northern part of the country is going to rebel away from England, or this red country, and is going to join up with England. And well, in the treaty, or well, what happens in this war, is the English country, the British one, takes this piece of land. And it looks like England is becoming, less, united, less divided, basically. Let's go over to this country here, as this country over here is kind of strong in England. But they are enemies of this country, and this country. So basically just all the neighbors, and even the Scottish country. The Scottish both of them feel like that this country is threatening their influence. Which they really aren't. They aren't doing anything except this tiny English expansion. But eventually a small coalition is going to form against this nation. It is going to be initiated by this nation as they quickly go ahead and invade, taking this major city. Second nation to invade is going to be this Scottish country, as they will be going ahead and taking this major city, and the third will be the Northern Scottish country, as they take their capital city. And well, this nation also joins the war, and well, let's just say they surrender. And let's look at the division of this English country. It's the peace treaty. Firstly, with this nation's gonna get their historical land back, and some more. The Northern Scottish nation is gonna take this land, including the capital city of this nation. The Southern Scottish are gonna take this land, forming a larger English empire, and this green country is going to take this land. And well, yeah, this is basically what the division looks like. Yeah. But let's go back to the alliance layer. As the French military alliance gains a new member. And this new member is actually going to be the southern French country here. And then they decide to form a name for the military alliance here. And the official name for the French military alliance is called the HFE, or the Holy French Empire. Yep, yeah. And also a name for the economic alliance is formed. It's called the Holy European Empires. Yeah, that's or the HEE. Yeah, the HFE and the HEE. Very interesting things. Yeah. Let's go to Sweden, as they will actually be deciding to join the the Holy European Empires, and also because they're strong, will be able to join the Holy French Empire. Yeah, but also with this one joining the empire, they basically consider people French now. So basically, with the religion layer, this is interesting because the French peoples are sort of divided. Well, these the people in the Holy French Empire. If we look, let's just do a quick outline of the HFE. Yeah, and I'll just do this quick outline real quick. Go around Sweden and yep, about here is roughly where the Holy French Empire lies. And let's just do the military rankings here. With the militaries, the strong militaries are also divided into their own little subcategory, as they are the strongest. And well, let's just do one final division, and there. Now let's look at the religion map. As we can see, the religion map is very divided here. We can see that the strongest nation in the Holy French Empire is this nation here. And while Germanicism is interesting, it's its own thing, but everybody in these white outlines has made a deal to consider themselves French. Yeah. And well, this is interesting as a lot of these people aren't French. A lot of these people here are Germanic peoples, sweet Benelux peoples, but still French in a way. There's a lot of French people in France, but a lot of yellow people. So this is a very interesting situation, as the Holy French Empire is divided in more ways than just borders. Yeah. And also, the new nation is going to decide to join the Germanic ideology. And this nation is going to be this light blue nation down here. They will also be joining the religion layer of Holy Frenchism. No, the Germanicist religion. And well, the thing is with this nation, this one decides to become independent, which is interesting. But also, this nation has finally completed its process of becoming a theocratic nation. Yeah, but the thing is, what religion does this theocratic nation decide it wants to adapt? Decide to adopt the Benelux religion, which is interesting considering they're French. Yeah. Let's go back down to Iberia, as the Iberian thing religion is going to be affecting even more parts of Iberia. Iberianism has affected all of these areas in the Iberian Peninsula. And while if we notice a pattern here, people are starting to notice that, hey, many nations are like the French religion is slowly but surely being decreased. It started with the Germanicism thing kind of breaking away from the religion. Yeah, the original part. Eventually, this area broke away from French and started this nation, and now the Iberian religion is breaking away from France. That's interesting, let's say. But also, let's go back to Romania, as we can see that the Romanians continue their quote unquote liberation of the people of this area. And let's just see where their quote unquote liberation of the Romanian peoples goes to. With the quote unquote liberation has spread to about these lines. And if we turn off the rivers, we can wrong layer. We can see that there's this tiny little community thing over here that is under Romanian but is deciding that they want to yeah. But this thing decides to yeah. What? what just happened? In this tiny little community thing here, decides to establish its own tiny little religion. Yeah, how well is that gonna work? Who knows how long that is going to last? Let's go down to the Anatolian nation, as they have decided to do their own process of greenification. And basically, they're also establishing their own little religion. And if we go to the religion map, we can see that the green religion has newly. Let's find a different color for this. How about this green color? Yeah. Let's just say Mesopotamian. As the Green Nation has decided to adapt Mesopotamian or into their religion. And the red religion is calling this like spreading away from their religion and peoples. And the green team doesn't care. But there's still these tiny communities here. Yeah. Let's go to the trade routes now. As we can see, what should we do with trade routes? We haven't done much over here in a while. Yeah. As more trade routes are built, and these new trade routes that are going to be built are going to spread up to Finland, up here, up to these Finnish nations, and spread across the multiple capitals of these Swedish nations, and eventually these trade routes will spread all the way up here, forming a giant Baltic Empire. Yeah. Estonia is also an interesting thing, as Estonia kind of wants to become Germanic. Yeah. But this time they decide to, do Germanicism, but in their own way. They're going to decide to establish Estonianism. As we can see in the religion map, both these islands, the yellow part of this, Estonianism, and this red community over here, and we have a new thing on the map, Estonianism. Yeah, religions have definitely been interesting this episode. As you can see, let's go to, not the provinces, but this map with Mesopotamia. As Mesopotamia is being declared war upon by this nation. And this nation, its goal is to defeat Mesopotamia once and for all. And they will try this goal by starting by invading through this river, and eventually will be able to capture their own areas. And eventually they get close to the Mesopotamian capital within the first weeks of this war. Eventually the Arabian country is going to decide to join the war, looking at the capital location. And very quickly the Arabians will be going ahead and invading Mesopotamia. And the Persians will also join in on the mess, as they want more land. And so will the Caspians, as Mesopotamia, one of the most historical nations in the history of this world, is falling apart, and Mesopotamia can't do anything about it. Eventually their final neighbor declares war on them, and eventually the Mesopotamian capital is captured. And let's look at the peace treaty of this war. What is the peace treaty of the war? Starting with Arabia, as they don't take that from Mesopotamia, but they will be able to take this from Mesopotamia. This nation will decide to take this from Mesopotamia. The Persians will be taking this from Mesopotamia, and the Caspians will be taking this. And finally, for the Israeli country, this thing will be taking the west, capturing the capital city of Mesopotamia, and erasing Mesopotamia off the map. Mesopotamia is gone off of the Wixel map once and for all. And that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed today's scenario where civilization started over. See you in the next episode where we see a lot more things happening in a certain continent that I won't tell you. Bye!